Hi, I'm Franz from the Better Normal Youth Champions.
Hi, I'm Jedrick, a youth leader from San Pablo, Laguna.
Hi, I'm Dee, a youth leader and part of Green Jeans of a Generation.
Magandang araw, RJ from Greenpeace, campaigner.
Yeah, campaigner.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ito na.
honorable members of Congress of
Ako,
the
bawal ba
Philippines,
ingay? Kunwari.
His
Ay,
Excellency
pero po yung sa SONA mo.
Ferdinand
Nakakalimutan niyo lang
Romualdez Marcos
si Martin
Jr.,
Romualdez. For
President
nakalimut ng
of
lines
the
siya
Republic of
palagi.
the Philippines.
Nasa harap mo na lang sis, basahin mo na.
Wow,
Hindi
tayo.
tayo kumakain.
IP na naman lang ano.
Hindi nga eh.
May ano po ba siya?
Nakahili.
May heritage po siya. Ay,
Wala, feel niya lang.
Hindi lang.
Medyo,
Appropriation.
medyo kanabahan ng person. Parang tama ba ito?
Ito na.
Nagkakalat.
Let's go,
May
bestie.
cheer. May cheer.
Wala pa naman sinasabi.
Hindi sila pinag-proud
Proud na agad.
Nakahili.
Nagay na lang yung
From the
bells.
great Vice President Sara Zimmerman Duterte, the former presidents, our former presidents, President Joseph Ejercito Estrada and President Gloria
Buhay
Macapagal
pa.
Arroyo, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri, and the honorable members of the Senate, House Speaker Ferdinand Martin Romualdez, and the honorable members of the House of Representatives, Chief Justice Alexander Gismundo, and the honorable justices of the Supreme Court, His Excellency, Most Reverend Charles John Brown, and the esteemed members of the Diplomatic Corps, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin, and the members of the Cabinet, First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos,
Nangiti.
Oh,
May kilo. Nung isa first, kinikilig.
Former First
Nagtakot siya ng
Lady.
ano.
Talaga.
Lady
Talaga ba?
Imelda Romualdez Marcos, other distinguished guests, mga minamahal kong kababayan, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Kaya ako.
1 year ago today, I stood here before you, setting forth the plans that we have to improve our economy, bring jobs to our people, improve the ease of doing business, recalibrate our educational system to adapt to the new economy, lower and rationalize energy costs, boost agricultural production, enhance healthcare, and continue social programs for the poor and the vulnerable. Let me now report to the people on the successes that we can now lay claim to, and also the challenges that we continue to face. Last year, we emphasized certain strong headwinds that were confronting us along with the rest of the world in our post-pandemic economic recovery. And the biggest problem that we encountered was inflation. Maraming kaganapan sa mundo ang nakapagpagulo sa maayos na takbo ng pandaigdigang merkado. Bukod sa digmaan sa Ukraine, naroon ang patuloy na epekto ng pandemya. Pinalala pa ito ng pagbabawas ng produksyon ng mga bansang pinagkukuhanan natin ng langis. Nang tumaas ang presyo nito, nagsunuran na rin ang presyo ng iba't ibang bilihin, ang gasolina, ang kuryente at ang pagkain. Ramdam sa buong daigdig, pati na sa Pilipinas, ang naging pagtaas ng mga presyo ng bilihin noong mga nakalipas na buwan.
Interesting na inuna niya yung
Sinuri nating
energy
mabuti
crisis sa
ang
economy.
sitwasyon. Sa tulong ng ating mga ekonomista, nakapagbalangkas tayo ng mga polisiya na magsisilbing pundasyon ng ating ekonomiya sa mga susunod na taon. Ito ay nakasaad sa ating medium-term fiscal framework na sinuportahan ninyo sa Kongreso. Kasabay nito ang paglulunsad ng mga estratehiya na mapalakas sa kakayahan ng ating mga kababayan at mga sektor ng ating ekonomiya. Nakakita po tayo ng magagandang resulta. While the global prospects were bleak, our economy posted a 7.6% growth in 2022, our highest growth rate in 46 years.
Malamang may magka-fact check nito.
For the
Ready na.
first quarter of this year, our growth has registered at 6.4%. It remains within our target of 6 to 7% for 2023. We are still considered to be amongst the fastest growing economies in the Asian region and in the world. It is a testament
Natatawa ko,
It is a
binibilang yung
testament
number of applause
to
usually.
our strong macroeconomic fundamentals. Our financial system, the nerve center of our economy, remains strong and stable. Banks, the transmission arms of our monetary policy, have strong capital and liquidity positions. Stimulated by the relaxation of pandemic restrictions, transactions once again have flourished alongside the booming e-commerce that was undeterred by the pandemic in 2020. The digital economy contributed 2 trillion pesos, the equivalent of 9.4% of our GDP. The economy is revived and rejuvenated, backstopped by a favorable enabling environment and the strong rule of law. This year, the World Bank projects a 6% overall growth rate, well within the range of our targets for the year. It is anchored on strong local demand, underpinned by consumer spending, and draws strength from the BPO industry and, of course, the steady flow of remittances and the continuing jobs recovery. Inflation rate is moving in the right direction. From 8.7% in January, our inflation has continued to ease up in all regions, settling now at 5.4% for June. What this means is that in spite of all the difficulties, we are transforming the economy. We are stabilizing the prices of all critical commodities. According to the Bangko Sentral,
Pero hindi ibig
inflation
sabihin
is
na
expected to
mababa
ease
yung
further
inflation
by the
rate,
close of the
mababa
year
din yung presyo ng
and
bilihin.
projected at
Doesn't work that way.
2.9% by 2024. On matters of the economy, there are many things over which we have no control. But over those where we do have control, we are doing everything we can. Puspusan ang ating ginagawa upang pataasin ang produksyon ng ating ekonomiya. Pinapalago natin ang mga industriya. Dinadagdagan natin ang mga infrastruktura upang mas mapabilis ang daloy ng mga produkto at ng serbisyo. Higit sa lahat, pinapalakas natin ang kakayahan ng mga mamamayan upang mapaganda nila ang kanilang pamumuhay. Ito ang punot dulo ng ating Philippine Development Plan. Investments in public infrastructure and in the capacity of our people through food, education, health, jobs, and social protection remain our top priority. For this year, economic and social services were allocated almost 70% of the national budget. Higher revenue collections will be critical in our bid to bolster public investments. Under our fiscal framework, we envision our tax and revenue efforts to further increase to up to 16.9% and 17.3% by 2028. Revenue generation has improved this year. From January to May, the Bureau of Internal Revenue has posted record collections amounting to 1.05 trillion pesos, an increase of almost 10% over the last year. For its part, the Bureau of Customs has also increased its collection by 7.4% for the first 7 months of 2023.
Yeah,
amounting to
wala.
476
Kaya
billion
minsan
pesos.
yung only reliance
Since
with yung
July
mga media na
2022,
nag-publish
we have
right
seen
after
increased
SONA.
revenues from PAGCOR of 47.9% and from the PCSO of 20%.
Number.
We therefore see
Memorable
once again
Yeah.
the
hundreds.
continuous
Oo.
progress to enact into law the policies and reforms under our fiscal framework. Sa mga nakalipas na buwan, nakita natin ang pagbaba ng presyo ng bilihin sa iba't ibang mga sektor. Napatunayan natin na kayang maipababa ang presyo ng bigas, karne, isda, gulay at
Di ba
asukal.
20 pesos yung ano niya? Pangako niya.
Sa bigat.
Na ating muling binuhay at inilunsad. Ang layunin ng Kadiwa ay pag-ugnayin ang mga magsasaka at ang mga mamimili. Walang iba pang namamagitan. Wala nang dagdag na gastos at patong. Maganda ang
Yun,
magsasaka
wala na po popcorn, hindi na tutuwa sa pinapan.
ang mga mamimili. Sa mahigit 7,000 kadiwa na idinaos sa buong Pilipinas, 1.8 milyon na pamilya ang nakinabang sa mababang presyo ng bilihin. Sa kabuuan, halos 700 milyong piso ang naging benta ng mga ito na nakapagbigay ng hanap buhay sa mga
Flagship name,
miyembro
Kadiwa.
ng mahigit 3,000
Pinangalanan siya.
Parang
Kadiwa.
hindi.
kooperatiba at samahan.
Pero parang hindi
Maganda
niya
ang nakita
pero
nating resulta.
pinangalan mo,
Kaya
under his
papalawigin pa natin ang Kadiwa sa buong bansa.
Nag-umpisa yun sa
Kamakailan
sulat.
lamang,
Naman siguro kung hindi niya minamention yung National Industry Base.
kamakailan
Yep.
lamang
siya palagi.
ay nagsanib puwersa na ang mga ahensya ng pamahalaan upang lalo pang patibayin ang Kadiwa.
Siya pa rin yung
Katuwang
agriculture
natin
secretary.
dito
Hanggang
ang
ngayon.
sektor ng agrikultura at ang lokal na pamahalaan.
Yes, he
Our
did
aim
the
is
yes, he
to
did the
boost
cleaning.
local agricultural production through consolidation, modernization, mechanization, and improvement of value chains, augmented by timely and calibrated importation as needed. Nakita nating tumaas ng 2.2% ang sektor ng agrikultura sa unang 3 buwan ng taong ito. In our quest for food security, our methods are now more guided by science and the balance of nature, so that production is both sustainable and responsible,
By science and the
benefiting both
guidance of
this
nature.
and future generations. Our fisheries codes
Ano kaya
must be
yun? Gin ba?
revised to incorporate and strengthen science-based
Revision
analysis
of fisheries
and
code.
determination of fishing areas. This approach will protect both the interests of our fisherfolk and our fisheries and aquatic resources. To this end, we will seek the support of Congress to amend the code to guarantee sustainable development of our fisheries sector in harmony with environmental balance.
That's a big
Lagi may
Yeah.
harmony.
Yeah.
It's a big promise.
Tsaka sinasabi niya yun sa the back of the oil spill, the
Pinagbubuklod
background.
natin ang mga
Yeah,
magsasaka
because it
months-
happened.
sa pamamagitan
months and
ng
months na
farm
hindi
and
maayos
fisheries
yun.
clustering
Curiously po,
at
parang
mga
sabi niya
livestock
na
multiplier
parang
farms.
use of science
Tatlong
back
daang
analysis.
klase
Hindi
na
ba yun
ang
dapat
ating
yung
Oo nga,
ginagawa?
that's the basic minimum. Basic minimum.
Parang today I learned
At
more
may
with
lawak
niya.
na mahigit na
may science pa na
200,000
kailangan.
hektarya ng bukirin.
Ano
Upang mas mapabilis at mas mapadali ang pagbuo ng kooperatiba, kailanganin natin ang suporta ng Kongreso na maamyendahan ang cooperative code.
Complete.
Sa pamamagitan nito, unti-unting lalakas ang kanilang produksyon at puwersa sa merkado. Totoo ang kasabihan, mas malapas basta't sama-sama. Pinapalawak natin ang
Parang
kanilang
po siyang
kaalaman
TED
sa
Talks
makabagong
Tento.
Pindahin natin siya.
Isa na rito ang paggamit ng biofertilizer na gawa sa Pilipinas at subok din at maaasahan. Sa balanced fertilizer strategy, gaganda ang ani ng mga magsasaka. Hindi na nila kailangan pang umasa sa mas mahal at imported
Yup.
na fertilizer.
Isa talaga ang
Bilang
food sa
tulong.
magiging malaking issue lalo na ngayon na painit ng
Tsaka,
Bilang
direct
tulong
tayo
sa mga magsasaka,
mag-communicate sa
namigay
kanya.
ang pamahalaan ng mahigit 28,000 mga makabagong
Medyo
makinarya
noted din po ako.
at mga
Kumuha siya
kagamitan
ng DA
sa iba't ibang dako ng
ship,
Pilipinas.
pero wala siyang
Sa
background.
ilalim
Yeah.
ng iba't
Yeah.
ibang mga programa ng kagawaran ng
Mas
agrikultura,
technical po siya compared
namigay
sa
ang pamahalaan
Very
ng
gut issue
mahigit
kasi.
na 50 milyong binhi ng palay, mahigit 1 milyong binhi
Actually,
ng
isa sa
mais,
mga pinaka
at
ang
sari-sari
hirap
mga
na
binhi
lapit niya
ng
sa mga
gulay.
tao, pero ang hirap niya
Pamigay tayo
ipaliwanag.
ng mahigit 100,000
Yeah.
binhi ng
Parang
niyog
lalaki
at
ka yun,
pagpatanim
mga
sa
numbers
halos
na
10,000
sinasabi niya.
hektarya ng lupa.
Lumilipad siya. Kung
Lahat
hindi mo
ng mga binhi
ganun
ito ay
technical
makabago, hybrid at mataas ang kalidad.
Hybrid
Sa naging
yellow.
pagtaas ng presyo ng gasolina at
Yung
pataba,
ano na po yung nabanggit
nagdala
kanina
ng
ng
kaunting
fisheries,
ginhawa
i-identify
ang mga
kung saan
fuel
yung
at
mga
fertilizer
area.
discount
Ginagawa na po
vouchers
siya.
na
Tapos
ating namigay
citizen
sa
science
mga
pong ginagamit.
nahihirapan
So
Yeah.
parang,
Hindi data.
why is it so new for you?
nating donasyon na pataba mula sa China, pinimigay na natin.
Pataba mula
agad.
sa China.
Pataba mula sa Chile.
Isa sa mga dahilan ng pagtaas ng presyo ay ang mga smuggler, mga hoarder, at mga nagmamanipula ng presyo ng produktong agrikultura.
Middlemen.
Hinahabol at iaabla natin sila.
Oo. Parate na lang.
Smuggle, gagi.
Tsaka hindi naman framing na ng
That's
onions,
yung
yung sugar, lahat
Silang
yun yan.
gawain. At hindi rin ito tugma sa ating magandang layunin. Pandaraya ang kanilang ginagawa. Napapahamak hindi lamang ang mga magsasaka, kundi tayo rin mga mamimili. Kaya hindi natin papayagan ang ganitong kalakaran. Bilang na ang mga araw ng mga smuggler at hoarder ngayon.
Nagbasa.
Nakatakot na kayo.
Bilang na mga araw.
Papunta pa ng ICC dito sa
Mahalaga ang infrastruktura para masuportahan ang may 14 na milyong hektarya ng sakahan. Inayos natin ang geo-agri map
Oo nga
ng mga farm-to-market roads ng buong bansa upang maidugtong mabuti ang mga sakahan sa mga pamilihan. Alinsunod dito, karagdagang 600 kilometro ng mga FMR ang ating nilatag sa iba't ibang panig ng bansa. Binigyan din natin ng patubig ang mahigit na 49,000 hektarya ng bukid sa buong Pilipinas.
Oo nga
Nagpagawa tayo ng halos 4,000 mga karagdagang fabrication lab, production at cold storage facility na magagamit ng lahat. Sa tulong ng Kongreso, nakapagpatayo tayo ng 24 na multi-species hatcheries upang maparami ang produksyon ng mga isda. Nakabantay tayo sa anumang banta ng mga sakit at peste na maaaring dumapo sa mga pananim at alagang hayop. Malapit na tayong magkaroon ng mga epektibong gamot at bakuna labang sa may Samantala, pinapalakas natin ang biosecurity levels ng mga alagang hayop bilang panlaban sa sakit. Tayo rin ay naghahanda sa El Nino na nagbabadyang tumama sa mga darating na buwan. Simula na tayong maghanda at ang mga buffer stock at ang mga kagamitang patubig ay hinahanda na. Kung kinakailangan, magsasagawa pa tayo ng cloud seeding upang makapagdala ng ulan. Kasabay ng lahat na ito, hinihimok din natin ang ating sambayanan na magtipid ng tubig para sa malawakang paghanda sa banta ng tagtuyot. Tulad ng ating ipinangako, ipinagpatuloy natin ang reformang pansakahan.
Ayaw na naman na
Mahalagang
mag-a-adjust.
haligi ng sektor ng agrikultura.
Tsaka ganun talaga yung
Pipid ka na to.
Tsaka ganun talaga yung approach ng approach niya parating technology-based yung solution. Parang people-centered
ng reformang agraryo.
Parating cloud seeding, nuclear energy.
Tamang-tama ang ating pagpapatigil ng mga bayarin ng mga benepisyaryo sa ilalim ng ating nilagdaan EO number 4. Isang taon mula nung aking unang SONA na isabatas na ang bagong Agrarian Emancipation Act.
Yung debt forgiveness sa ano. Last week mo lang
Dahil
sinayin
dito, ang 57 billion piso ng utang na pinapasan ng mahigit 600,000 benepisyaryo ay tuluyan ng nabura.
Pero kasi pwede ba kung nagkaroon ng debt pardon?
Sa-
Parang ganun din naman.
sa ngalan
mag-accumulate
ng mga
sila
magsasaka.
over time. Kasi
Ayon
Yes,
sa kanilang mga
exactly.
pamilya.
Exactly.
Maraming salamat muli sa ating
Not worth
mga
clapping for.
mamamayan.
Why are they clapping?
Parang kung may ganun ka, sana may social
Ang
safety
tubig
nets ka
ay
din.
kasing halaga
Para
rin.
ma-ensure na hindi sila malugmok sila.
Kailangan natin tiyakin.
Kasi kung
na
aware na
sapat
pala
at
siya
malinis na
ng
tubig
ganung
para sa
process,
lahat.
bakit
At
parang
sa mga susunod na
band-aid
Band-aid solution.
Kasama na rito ang tubig na ginagamit natin para sa sakahan. Considering its fundamental
Tagal na sa agri,
importance, water security deserves a special focus. Our efforts must
Food
not
security.
be scattershot, but rather cohesive, centralized, and systematic. So given that urgency, we have created the Water Resources Management Office
Yeah.
to specifically
Under
handle
Under the,
job involving this most
Lahat ng
precious
mga
resource.
gut issue and basic
Nakikipag-ugnayan
services
tayo
under
sa
him.
Kongreso upang maipasa
Food,
ang batas
water.
para sa pagbuo ng isang Department of Water Resources.
So pinupush pa rin niya yung department niya.
This year, we have allocated 14.6 billion pesos for water supply projects, which will benefit communities all over the country. Recently, the water supply of NCR and Rizal received a significant boost from the first phase of the Wawa Bulk Water Supply
And
Project.
from there,
The water supply
I can
Ah,
feel.
tayo-wawa.
project enters the
Malapit.
second phase.
Anong Montalban?
We have installed 6,000 rainwater collection systems across the country in preparation
Saan yung banda?
for the looming dry
Kaya
spell
yung mga
brought
nagkawas
about
ng
by El Nino. One of the keys to continuing economic growth is infrastructure development. So we will build better and more. Our 8.3 trillion peso Build Better More program is currently in progress
BBM,
and being
Build Better
vigorously
More.
implemented.
Ikaw yung main character
Oo
energy
nga.
na.
Bansa ay makikinabang sa 164
Galit na galit.
na proyekto sa ilalim ng
Di
programa
kinaya.
ito. Hindi lamang natin pinapagpatuloy ang mga nasimulan ng mga proyekto, lalo pa natin pinapalawak. Kaya naman, ang 123 proyekto dito sa Build Better More program ay bago. The flagship projects cover investments in the areas of physical connectivity, water resources, agriculture, health, digital connectivity, and energy. Physical connectivity infrastructure, such as roads and bridges, seaports, airports, mass transport, account for 83% of this program. Our infrastructure
Grabe,
spending
laki.
will stay at
So,
5-6% of
1
our
billion siya
GDP.
sa infrastructure, 14 lang sa
Yeah.
agri.
Yeah.
Focusing nga sila talaga sa
The
infrastructure.
underlying logic to our infrastructure development is economic
Pero
efficiency.
sir, di ba
We are opening up all gateways to mobilize goods and services at
Yes.
less cost and in less time, and ultimately to drive the economy forward. Our road network plans must link not only our 3 major islands, but all prospective sites of economic development. The 1,200-kilometer Luzon Spine Expressway Networks program will effectively connect Ilocos to Bicol from 20 hours to just 9 hours of travel.
Gusto be
Time traveler.
Grabe, kung kami connect na rin sa amin.
Grabe no.
Under the Mega Bridge program, 12 bridges totaling 90 kilometers will be constructed, connecting islands and areas separated by water.
Pero kasi di ba yung
The
father
program
niya known for
notably
that.
includes
Yeah.
Bataan, Cavite,
Yeah.
Parang
So
following
parang,
us.
Yeah.
Iniisip ko yung binanay kay agriculture kasi di ba parang golden
and the
year.
Panay, Guimaras,
Yeah.
Negros
Yep.
Island
Yep.
Possibly
bridges,
playbook din.
Same.
Yep, exactly.
Magandang pasan talaga ang program.
Yeah.
spanning 32
Pati mga
kilometers,
businesses.
and also the Samal Island, Davao City Connecting
Ayan, no?
Bridge.
Madaming mga biosensitive areas din sa Samal na
As of
matatamaan.
June this year,
Tsaka walang
we have
maayos na
constructed, maintained, and
consultation
upgraded
process.
more than 4,000
Naglantaga
kilometers of
din
roads
EIC.
and around 500 bridges across the country. Crucial airport and port development projects across the country have also been completed, including Cebu Piers, 88 Smart Port, and the new passenger terminal buildings of Clark Airport and the Port of Calapan. We initiated several railway projects with a total length of more than 1,000 kilometers.
Pero carry over
Notably,
project naman yan.
the southern leg of the north-south commuter railway system is now in full swing.
Yeah,
In a few
madami.
years, travel from Pampanga to Laguna will be reduced from 4 hours to just 2. Intermodal connectivity will also be a primary consideration. Roads, bridges, and mass transport systems will be interconnected. This network will provide access and passage to vital and bustling economic markets, such as agriculture hubs, tourism sites, and key business districts. For strategic financing, some of the nation's high-priority projects can now look to the newly established Maharlika Investment
Sabi
Fund
na eh.
without the added debt burden. In pooling a small fraction of the considerable but underutilized government funds, the funds shall be used to make high-impact and profitable investments, such as the Build Better More program. The gains from the fund shall be reinvested into the country's economic well-being. To ensure sound financial management, a group of internationally recognized economic managers shall oversee the operations of the fund, guided by the principles of transparency and accountability. This guarantees that investment decisions will be based on financial
yan?
considerations alone,
Sino yung mga expert
absent
na yan?
International
political
International.
influence.
Swiss.
Cayman Islands, yan naman.
Funds for the social
Mga offshore
security and
accounts.
public health insurance of our people shall remain intact and separate. Owing to favorable market conditions, the price of crude oil has stabilized. Gasoline, since last year, gasoline and diesel prices have gone down by 18 to 29% respectively. We have built 8 new additional power plants. This brings to 17 the total number of power generation facilities that have been switched on across the country since last year, substantially increasing our energy production
Yeah, pero coal
by
lahat yun.
1,174 megawatts. Alongside power generation, we are also as relentless in pursuing total electrification. Since my assumption into office, almost 500,000 homes have been given access to electricity. We will spare no effort to achieve full household electrification by the end of my term. 100%.
So lahat mabayad ng mataas na presyo ng kuryente.
When it comes to energy, renewable energy is the way forward. We are aggressively promoting renewables so that it provides a 35% share in the power mix by 2030 and then on to 50% by 2040.
Kailangan ni 50%
To
ngayon ng
accelerate
2000.
the realization of this green energy
Kailangan
goal,
mas
we have
mabilis.
opened renewable energy projects to foreign investment. Since last year, an additional 126 renewable energy contracts with a potential capacity of 31,000 megawatts have been awarded. To date, we have over 1,000 active projects spread all over the country. 299 of these are solar, 187 are wind, 436 are hydroelectric, 58 biomass, 36 geothermal, and 9 are ocean power. The Malampaya project has been a boon to our country, energizing 20% of Luzon. The renewal of the contract guarantees continued revenues and energy production for another 15 years.
Ito yung malampaya.
Aside from Malampaya, we will also push for more gas exploration
Nako.
in other parts.
Ora.
It's
The
contradicts.
national government has also partnered with
Hindi
the
pa
bar
nila na-resolve yung
in
Odena
regard
issue
to
tapos
energy
nag-
exploration
sila.
and development, and also its utilization within its territorial jurisdiction. We therefore expect to see renewed investor interest in its promising sites. We finally have a unified national grid with the interconnection of the Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao grids. The one grid, one market will enable more efficient transfers and more competitive pricing of electricity throughout the country. However, 68 grid connections are much delayed, according to the ERC's count. We are conducting a performance review of our private concessionaire, the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. We look to NGCP to complete all of its deliverables, starting with the vital Mindanao, Visayas, and Cebu Negros Panay interconnections. Habang pinapabuti natin ang lagay ng ekonomiya, pinapalakas din natin ang kakayahan ng Pilipino. Ito ay sa pamamagitan ng mahalagang armas ng edukasyon, magandang kalusugan at trabaho. Malaking bahagi ng pondo ng pamahalaan ay inilaan para sa mga ito. Sa ating pagtahak sa kaunlaran, walang mamamayang Pilipino ang maiiwanan. Para sa atin, ang bawat buhay,
Hindi may liwanag.
para sa atin, ang bawat buhay ay mahalaga. Ano man ang edad, kasarian,
Is this a campaign?
angkat,
Oo
relihiyon,
nga eh. Oo nga.
legal na kondisyon, sila ay kukup-kupin at tutulungan.
Kukup.
Naglalaan tayo ng sapat na pondo para sa mga pag-ingat ng mga lubos na nangangailangan. Layunin natin na sila ay makabangon, mabigyan ng sapat ng kakayahan at maging produktibo. Hindi lamang DSWD, kundi pati ang DOLE, ang DepEd, TESDA, CHED ay tumutulong sa ating mga kababayan nangangailangan. Ang AIX, TUPAD, TVET for Social Equity, Social Pension for Indigent Senior Citizens, at ang Cash for Work para sa mga PWDs ay ilan lamang sa mga mahahalagang programa ng pamahalaan para sa kanila. Nariyan din ang Integrated Livelihood Program ng kabuhayan upang matulungan ang mga maliliit na negosyo. We are inclusive in our pursuit of social protection. The pension of the military and the uniformed personnel is as important as
Naging
urgent
malaking issue
and
yun.
as
No? Matatanggalin
Malaki.
sila lang.
as that of all other civilian Filipino employees. Efforts are underway to make it fully functional and financially sustainable. We are once again working closely with Congress to ease the transition from the old system to the new one, so as to be able to guarantee that no effects are felt by those in the uniformed services.
Hindi niya ma-afford na
Nagsisimula ang lahat sa edukasyon. Ito ay para palakasin ang isip at kakayahan ng bawat Pilipino.
Isip at
Ang
kakayanan.
ating butihing Vice Presidente,
Pero medyo
nakalihim
privileged
din
pa
ng
rin
kagawaran
tayo
ng
pagkasama na
edukasyon.
education is the way out.
Tumutulong upang
Yeah.
It doesn't
tiyakin
sit
ang
well
bawat
talaga.
batang Pilipino ay
Parang sa
mabibigyan
isang
ng
colonial
nararapat
mindset.
at kalidad na edukasyon.
Ganito ang susi niyo sa labas ng kahirapan.
Pero actually, ganun po talaga yung
We have
parang
renewed hope
sinasabi
in
ng mga
giving the best to
deputies.
our next
Yeah.
batches of
Pag,
students,
graduation
especially the
services.
28.4 million learners who return to school this year.
And
Learning recovery will be at the forefront of our education agenda. The matatag agenda for basic education has been
pwede pala yung ganun kabilis.
focusing on relevance and curriculum, rapid and responsive delivery, and the welfare of both
Sana
learners
actions din.
and
Ganun
teachers.
kabilis.
We are augmenting as well our school workforce. 90% of the newly
Gulat ka.
Ano, kasi
While
di ba
additional
Harry Potter
administrative
and
personnel
the chamber
have been hired
the
to
chamber. Kasi
unburden
Philosopher's Stone,
the
ganun yung
teachers.
Sa likod.
Taking to heart the lessons of the pandemic, alternative delivery modes and blended learning methodologies have been adopted to ensure unhampered learning. Additional social safety nets, such as school-based feeding programs, are also being implemented. Learners will be made more resilient. Our public schools and facilities are being increased and fortified. The shortage of classrooms and facilities is being addressed. Aside from new construction, schools and facilities are being retrofitted to become ready for the future. Ready for hybrid and high-tech learning,
Hindi na ba
and also
mainit yun?
climate ready
Ang init?
and disaster-proof.
Oo nga eh.
Ano yung retrofit na yun?
Actually.
Future.
Yeah.
Through the DepEd Partnership
At anong
Systems
future?
Portal, private sector partners continue their assistance in the rehabilitation and improvement of schools as part of their corporate social responsibility programs. We are
So partnership
recalibrating the
with
K-10
corporations.
curriculum to ensure that it is always relevant, responsive, and at par with international standards.
University rankings.
QS.
Numeracy skills need to
Top
be
4.
strengthened. The virtue of good citizenship and sense of community are also now integrated into our curriculum. We continue to exhaust all efforts to keep our young people away from the sinister influences in the dark corners of society.
Wow.
Sinister
Their
influences.
participation in formal schooling, alternative learning, non-diploma courses, or in technical vocational education and training, or TVET. TVET continues to prove
Ay,
itself
hindi
to be
siya
an
nakikita yung
empowering
mga
educational intervention.
Mga course
There are
work.
many
Oo
examples of how its graduates have gone on to secure competitive technical jobs. Since last year, more than 1 million Filipinos graduated from the TVET, 1/3 of whom were TESDA scholars. More and more of our higher education institutions,
Test na ano ba
more
yan?
and more of our
Sorry.
higher education institutions have reached world-class status. This year, 52 Philippine HEIs have been included in the World Universities Rankings.
Ayun nga.
Ay,
Ayun.
ito na sa akin gusto yun. Our cloud chasing mo.
We will not let a student's financial constraints be an hindrance to his or her education. We have activated social safety nets, such as skills development training and youth employment programs. Tertiary education in state universities and colleges will remain free for our qualified students.
Dapat ba?
Pero kinaltasan yung budget.
Last year, out of the 4.1 million enrolled college students, almost 50% were
Pero
beneficiaries of the country's free higher education under the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education program. Deserving and talented students without the financial capacity to attend school will not be left behind in this education agenda. A culture of innovation, working hand in glove with a culture of entrepreneurship, must be fostered. This is Philippinovation. Science and technology, especially R&D, will be at its foundation. The DOST leads the development of our capabilities in science, technology, and innovation. Science and technology-related scholarships are made available for the talented and technically gifted students from high school all the way to graduate school. To address the challenge of staying at the cutting edge of technology, 44 renowned Filipino scientists in diverse areas of expertise have returned home under the Balik Scientist program. They will undertake research in various priority fields and will be supported by upgraded facilities and R&D funding.
Pero kasi yung balik scientists, pabalik sila kasi they already
The
have gained
Philippines has
yung
launched
experience
two
na hindi nila
satellites
makukuha
into
dito.
Na dito, yeah.
Together with the first satellite, they will track weather, predict storms, evaluate soil and water supplies, analyze shifts in population, and be used for traffic management, geohazard mapping, risk assessment, and even including security and defense. Science, technology, and innovation will drive the quality and competitiveness of our workforce, as well as our manufacturing, export, creative, and service industries, in existing markets and in new ones waiting to be
Hindi nila
explored.
sabi yung nuclear
The bane of the mismatch between jobs and skills among our workforce is being rectified
Hindi nila sila
through strengthened government, industry, labor, academic partnerships,
Oh, hindi.
and the continuous reskilling and upskilling training programs that we have put before our workforce. For our seafarers to continue to excel, maritime education in the Philippines has been strengthened. This will progress and solidify our country's position as a global maritime hub through the steady supply of competent Filipino seafarers to foreign merchant marine vessels. The question about the European Union's recognition of the standards of training of Filipino seafarers has, after 17 years, finally been resolved. This development now effectively maintains the Filipino seafarers' distinct competitive advantage in the global shipping labor market. To address the current shortage of healthcare professionals in our country and to help us achieve our goal of universal healthcare, we are greatly expanding our medical and nursing education programs. We will push the envelope even further. We are helping nursing graduates hurdle the board exams so that they will obtain their licenses and join our
Yun
pool
naman yung
of
license,
healthcare
yung sahod.
professionals.
Oo nga.
Yun ang problem.
I-expand nila pero may RSA pa rin.
Oo nga.
Ang kalusugan ang ikalawang armas para sa lakas ng pangangatawan ng bawat Pilipino. Isinusulong natin muli ang kalusugan ng Pilipino. We are now refocusing our health priorities, applying the lessons learned from the pandemic and addressing the weaknesses that it has exposed. Healthier communities and lifestyle are our advocacy. We have launched convergent programs to address hunger and nutrition-related issues amongst our people, especially the children, like stunting and wasting. Last week, we introduced the pilot food stamp program, which seeks to supply the nutrition needs of the million most food-poor Filipinos. The FSP
Natriban yun eh.
21st
The
century.
FSB shall complement our nutrition
Modern day
sustainability
Nutriban.
programs, such as the first 1,000 days program, which ensures nourishment for the first 3 years of a child's life.
Oo.
The supplemental feeding program is for our
Playbook talaga
children
ng tatay
attending
niya.
daycare centers. The K-6 program will feed kindergarten to grade 6 public school students
Kasi
who
parang
are
it's
suffering
just a
from
one-time
wasting
event. Pero
and
yung
severe
paglaki ng
malnutrition.
pag-change ng
We are
effects ng
catching up
malnutrition,
on the routine
continuous.
vaccinations of
Yeah.
our children.
Systemic dapat.
As of this year, more than 80% of our eligible children have been vaccinated against measles, rubella, and polio. Nananawagan ako sa lahat ng mga magulang na kumpletuhin ang mga bakuna ng kanilang mga anak at magtungo sa pinakamalapit na health center para sa mga libreng bakuna.
Nag-pause talaga siya.
Society
Para
must
palakpakan.
exert efforts to suppress the
flat
alarming
further
rise of
natin.
tuberculosis and HIV/AIDS.
May prank.
To stem the tide, the strategic plan is to ensure early diagnosis and treatment and ample testing sites and medications. Our healthcare system is undergoing structural changes. Public health facilities are being increased, both in number and in capability. Last year, more than 3,400 projects were completed to improve capacity for specialized medical treatment. Specialty centers in various fields are being established and integrated into our government hospitals. And the last year, additional 60 specialty centers have been opened to the public. Just last week, we inspected the site of what will soon be a 5-hectare specialty center in Pampanga, which will specialize in pediatrics, cardiology,
Para may masabi.
kidney, and
Para
cancer
makaabot.
treatment.
Kasi it's not really a milestone. It was just last week.
We
Wala.
are working
Yeah.
for a more direct, efficient delivery of services through integrated primary care providers and networks in partnerships with the LGUs and our partners in the private sector. These shall, of course, be supported by what is now a better and more efficient PhilHealth. Ang presyo ng mga mahalaga at pangunahing gamot ay bumaba ng humigit kumulang ng 40%. Mayroon ding iba na bumaba na hanggang 70%. Aside from the maximum retail price regulation being implemented, strategic VAT exemptions also lowered the prices of 59 essential medications such as those for cancer, diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, and mental illness. Palapit na
Mental
palapit na tayo.
illness.
Medyo weird sa ano.
Oo nga eh. Yeah.
Palapit na tayo
Bakit?
sa hangarin na ang lahat ng Pilipino ay makakakuha ng serbisyong pangkalusugan. Sa ngayon, mahigit 93% na ang kasapi sa PhilHealth. Sa pinagandang konsulta package ng PhilHealth, 21 klase ng mga gamot at 13 laboratory services ang ibibigay na libre. Ngayon, meron na tayong
Bigyan naman tayo
mahigit
alam, no?
2,000
May
konsulta
mali lang
sa
daw yung
buong
accounting
bansa.
niya sa akin.
Ang
Yun
bilang
yung
na
gusto
ito
nabasa.
ay mas marami ng 35% mula nung nakalipas na taon. Upang mas lalo pang makatulong sa mga pasyente, ang dating 70 libreng dialysis session ay inakyat na natin sa 156.
Pero bakit dun tayo sa ano, sa pure side?
Yeah. Hindi sa
Mga
prevention.
kababayan, libre na po ngayon ang dialysis para sa karamihan ng Pilipino.
Ano ang magkasakit dahil
Ano?
ma-avail
Oo,
ng medical?
oo.
So kung ako, wala akong pera.
Noong nakalipas na taon,
Sige din pala na sa cure.
4 million na
Total libre
Pilipino
magpa-dialysis
bigyan
ngayon
ng
eh.
tulong sa ilalim ng medical
Padayon
assistance
sila.
Talaga na to.
Oo.
The
program
prevention.
ng DOH. Tinutugunan natin ngayon ang ating kakulangan sa mga doktor at mga nurse sa pamamagitan ng mga reforma sa edukasyon, patuloy na pagsasanay at paniniguro sa kanilang kapakanan. Naglagay po tayo ng doktor sa halos 200 munisipyo sa bansa. Lalagyan natin din ng doktor ang natitirang 19 na bayan na wala pang doktor. Upang masuklian
Ano kayo sa akin?
upang masuklian naman natin ang
62,
naging
ay,
sakripisyo
65,
ng ating mga
65.
health workers sa pribado at pampubliko ng mga ospital nung nakaraang pandemya. Ipapamahagi na sa kanila ang kanilang COVID health emergency allowance at iba pang
Ayun
mga
pa lang, tapos na
nabimbing
yung
benepisyo.
COVID.
Oo nga.
Ayun pa lang.
Para daw sa next pandemic.
Preparation. Oh my God, naka-recover na ako lahat ngayon. Palang wala din yung
Ang
allowance.
alaala
Ako
natin
din
sa
nakatatlong
edukasyon
COVID
at
na.
kalusugan ng ating mamamayan. Tinitiyak din natin
Bingo.
ang may sapat at magandang hanap buhay sa loob at maging sa labas ng bansa. As of May this year, our employment rate rose to 95.7%. Clear proof of the improvement from the severe unemployment that we experienced during the height of the pandemic. Employment then was at a low of 82.4%. But even with our current high level of employment, we must do more. We will generate additional jobs for the remaining 4.3% of our workforce, as well as for the 11.7% underemployed Filipinos seeking better employment opportunities. Under the banner of our fast-growing economy, we are aggressive in our investment and business promotions and facilitations. For that, we have not limited ourselves to the local economy, but we have looked to the global economy for partnerships and agreements. Our independent foreign policy, a friend to all and enemy of none, has proven effective. We have formed strategic alliances with our traditional and newfound partners in the international community. We have embarked on foreign trips to promote the interests of the country for peace building and for
For peace building yun. For peace building daw.
These economic
Hindi siya
moves
nag-dwell sa
yielded an
labor.
estimated
Employed ka
national
pero
investment
contractual ka nga, hindi mo kita labor conditions.
1.9
Tsaka
trillion
for
pesos
wage.
or 71 billion US dollars, with the potential to generate 175,000 jobs. The implementation of
So
recent
yung mga
economic
PPP din
reforms
niya
is
yung mga
underway.
job providing.
BOI-approved investment projects have reached 1.2 trillion pesos during our first year, while other strategic investments approved for processing through the newly established green lanes amount now to 230 billion pesos. Our existing bilateral and multilateral trade agreements, notably within the ASEAN framework, and with Japan and with Europe, and allow us to leverage our competitive advantages and reap economic benefits. We will continue to forge more of these international partnerships that will lead to a more balanced trade strategy and a healthier economic position. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, is now in force. It is a multilateral trade arrangement with the ASEAN and other countries such as Australia, China, Japan,
RCEP.
Korea, and New Zealand. We can now have competitive access to a regional market that comprises 2 billion people. As we address our weaknesses and develop competitiveness in other potential areas, we must also play to our strengths. Our competitive advantage must be leveraged. As a service export powerhouse, we must continue to nurture the growth of the services sector, particularly the information technology business process management sector, and of course, the tourism industry. Our tourism has always been a reliable pillar of our economic growth through the years, providing livelihood to more than 5 million of our citizens. Because of the reopening of the economy and the phenomenon of revenge travel, this sector is headed for a great rebound. From January to June this year, we have received 3 million international visitors. This number is already 62% of our 4.8 million target for the entire year. Mga kababayan, ang lahat ng mga ginagawa
Ulan
natin
tayo.
ito ay magbibigay bunga sa
tapos na yung
libo-libong hanap
tourist.
buhay.
Ay,
Oo
hindi.
nga.
Summer months
Bagyo
lang
na
yun
eh. Bagyo na eh.
To create these investment opportunities, we must ensure that an enabling business environment is in place, that there is peace and order, and that the rule of law governs. We will solidify our country's reputation as an attractive and reliable investment destination. Building on institutional reforms of recent years, we have created green lanes for strategic investments and expedited the business processes in various sectors and investment modalities. A progressive and rationalized system of taxation is a component of the ease of doing business. The CREATE law has made our corporate tax and incentive schemes equitable and business-friendly. There are more structural tax reforms that must be introduced to allow us to reach our socio-economic targets. Digitalization is the call of today, not the call of the future, not the call of the future, but of the present. It is here. It is
Tayo
needed,
na siya.
and it is needed today. Government must fully embrace digitalization to provide better service to the people through its vital frontline services and its back-end functions. Digitalization will support the government's data-driven and science-based planning and decision-making. It is the greatest, most powerful tool, not just to improve the ease of doing business, but also against many forms of graft and corruption. Data shows that digitalization, in conjunction with government streamlining efforts, has significantly boosted efficiency. Notable examples are in the areas of government payments, company and business registrations, issuance of permits and licenses, loan applications, and revenue collection. All our digitalization efforts will be linked to our payment systems, whose digital transformation has been accelerating at a remarkable rate. Digital payments accounted for 42% of the total retail payments made in 2022, whether by businesses or individuals or by the government. Its high trajectory is now well positioned to achieve Bangko Central's target of 50% of total retail payments by this year. The eGov PH app has also been launched. As envisioned, all key government services are to be integrated into the single and centralized mobile app for the convenience of the general public. The national ID system will be at the core of this digitally transformed
Tatlong taon din
network of
national ID
government
ko.
Hindi pa na
Ako isa
to
inalaw.
fundamentally change the
2 years
lives of
natin
each
sa
Filipino.
Bago po mag-pandemic.
At 87% total registration, we are now closer to establishing a complete,
Registration,
accurate,
pero
and
hindi
reliable
distribute.
digital database of our own
Registration.
for the entire population. This has already been integrated
Ako may lisensya na ako sa
into the
trabaho before ko pa makuha yung
eGov
national ID
and
ko.
can be now accessed by our citizens. Consistent with this transformative policy direction, all government offices must then ensure that their vital services are digitalized immediately.
Yung
In
LTO
response to this call,
print your own
the
license.
Department of announced last week the Department of
Crowdsourced
Migrant
digitization.
Workers Mobile to make the journey of
Yung
our
mas
labor
prone to hacking.
workers
Oo.
easier.
Although good na
Because of
last
system
paper.
upgrades, our internet speed
Baka
has
i-blame na
improved.
naman nila yun
As
sa...
of June of this year,
Mag-doctor rin yan.
our
Oo,
fixed
kasi sa
broadband
kanila.
speed ranks 47th amongst 180 countries. This ranking is 11th place higher than it was last year.
Not
Our
impressed.
mobile internet speed
From
is
the-
now
from
ranked
the
at
roof.
83 out of 142 countries, which is 8 places higher than it was last year. There will be more improvements as our internet infrastructure undergoes further upgrades. Early this year, Starlink went live,
Lumabas
Yeah,
na
sa-
link eh.
now providing high-speed satellite broadband
19,990.
connectivity.
Ganyan na.
Our national fiber backbone and broadband ng MASA projects will also deliver high connectivity and high-speed internet. We are prioritizing geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. The DICT has been directed to consolidate all these digitalized government services into the eGov PH app, to establish the National Government Portal and the Philippine Business Data Bank to improve the internet speed in our country. With our e-commerce roadmap firmly in place, we are poised to take this digitalization drive further and beyond, utilizing e-commerce to take full advantage of new technologies. The first bill that I signed into law was the SIM Registration Act, because we are mindful of the risks and vulnerabilities that can lead to negative consequences. Digital users and consumers shall be protected from identity theft, phishing, other online scams through essential systems and safeguards, such as cybersecurity, data privacy, consumer complaint mechanisms, and financial
Oo
literacy
nga.
campaigns.
Oo.
Oo.
The training
Hindi
is
sinasabi na nanalo ko ng
to ease
10
the
million.
transition of those whose
Ako
jobs
binibentahan
will be
ng
affected
solar.
by the shift to
Ang
digitalization
galing.
are also now being included in the
Sa
curriculum
WhatsApp.
and programs offered by
Iba
Matawag pa sa akin.
DICT
Ako din.
and other
Ako din.
agencies of government. It is our wish that one day foreign employment will be driven by choice, not by necessity.
Tama na lang.
It remains a noble calling that our OFWs have answered, requiring great sacrifice from them, their families, and their communities. We are engaging with our partners in the international community to ensure a safe working environment for our countrymen. And as we do so, we are also putting in place responsive mechanisms for the social welfare, repatriation, and reintegration of our returning OFWs into the Philippine economy. As the world economy reopens, we are witnessing a rise in overseas Filipino deployment. In 2022, the number has increased by 62%. OFWs continue to send in historically high remittances, solidifying their role in our transformative economic growth. In 2022, our OFWs contributed $32.5 billion, or roughly 1.8 trillion pesos, to our economy. Several countries have also signified interest to explore bilateral labor cooperation with the Philippines in the areas of healthcare, tourism, hospitality, engineering, construction, and information technology. Recently, we signed agreements with Singapore, Austria, and the province of Alberta in Canada. Our priority is to ensure that the principles of ethical recruitment, fair employment, and the safe and orderly migration of our people are embodied in our agreements with other countries. For example, the deployment issue in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has now been resolved. And as of today, 70,000 of our OFWs have already been deployed to Saudi Arabia for employment. Moreover, the unpaid salaries and other related claims of some 14,000 OFWs who have been put out of work in Saudi Arabia during the pandemic are now being processed. The Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia himself personally committed to me that the unpaid claims of Filipino workers would now be paid.
Nakaka-jar na iba na yung script.
Personal relations.
The continued employment of some 50,000 workers and the deployment of many more Filipino seafarers on EU vessels has also been assured. The lesson for us is that our education and skills training must always be attuned to the high, exacting, and constantly evolving global standards. Sa pagsusumikap ng mga mamamayan, walang hindi kakayanin. Kahit ang mga matatayog na pangarap ay mga abot, kasama ang inaasam na tahanan. Katuwang natin ang lokal na pamahalaan at pribadong sektor upang matulungan ang Pilipino sa pangangailangan ng pabahay. Patuloy ang serbisyo ng Philippine Fund upang makatulong sa kanyang 5 milyong membro para makabili ng bahay. Sa nakaraang taon, mahigit 100,000 ang kumuha ng housing loan sa Pag-ibig na nagkakahalaga ng 117 billion na piso. Ito ang pinakamataas ng bilang sa buong kasaysayan ng Pag-ibig.
Nagulat ako.
Alright.
Tayo ba?
May remote.
Tayo ba?
Hindi, sa nag-stream.
Oh no. Scared ako for them. Totoo.
Itong nakalipas na taon, mahigit 148,000 nakabahaya
Talaga?
at mahigit 30,000 mga Certificate of Eligibility of Lot Award ang naipamahagi sa Luzon, sa Visayas at sa Mindanao sa ilalim ng sari-saring mga programang pabahay ng pamahalaan. Mahigit 35,000 residential free patent at agricultural patent titles naman ang naibigay sa mga benepisyaryo nito sa buong bansa. Hindi pa dito natatapos. Papalawigin
Baka
pa
naman sa
natin
isang
ang
part.
ating programa sa hutkayang
Most
pabahay,
likely.
lalo na para sa mga mahihirap nating kababayan. Itong nakalipas na taon, inilunsad natin ang pambansang pabahay para sa Filipino Housing Program o 4PH. Nagkaroon na tayo ng groundbreaking sa 25 lugar sa iba't ibang bahagi ng bansa.
Saan?
Nagpirmahan na rin ng kasunduan upang simulan ang mga proyekto sa mahigit 100 lokasyon. Kung susumahin natin ito, mahigit 1 milyong kabahayan ang may aalay natin sa ating mga kababayan sa buong bansa. The building blocks of progressive, livable, and sustainable communities will never be complete
Livable and
without
sustainable
appropriate and
communities.
responsible action to mitigate and to adapt to the effects of climate change.
Ayan.
Ayan na.
We can never lose sight of our responsibility to the future.
Yeah, after 1
The
hour.
economic agenda cannot and will not ever be incompatible with our climate change agenda.
So gusto niya
Climate change is
market-based
now an
approaches
important
tayo.
criterion in our integral national policies, in planning, decision-making, up to the implementation of programs. The potential advantages of such enlightened policies extend to jobs and livelihood. with the unlocking of the development of the green and blue economies. We have learned many painful lessons from past disasters, but we continue to be alert and prepared in our disaster response. It has in fact been commented that sometimes we are over-prepared for such natural disasters.
Over-prepared naman tayo.
We are reorganizing our response teams to make them more adaptable, agile, and
Organizing the
effective
response
in
team,
times
lalo
of
na
calamities and
pag-ulan.
crises,
Oo nga.
with a clear unity of command. Our evacuation centers are being upgraded to withstand the greater
This should
forces of
happen
the
on
new
the first
normal of
quarter of the
extreme
year.
weather, as well as other natural and man-made disasters. Furthermore, new evacuation centers are also being built.
Wala akong
of
narinig
which
na
55
strategic
are
na
already
specific
being
for climate
Wala.
agenda.
We
Puro
remain
binahan
Puro,
na sa
puro,
evacuation.
puro adaptation na
and the reduction of
Tsaka naghahabol lang
we
sa
preserve and
bagong
protect the
epekto
treasure
na mas
is
malakas.
our forests. Their value to the environment, to the ecology, and the economy is incalculable. We have adopted the concept of the circular economy, using nature as our model. The aim is to keep raw materials in a closed loop. In our world with scarce resources, the circular economy allows us to fully use these resources, minimize waste, and reduce the need for new resources, just as it is in nature. Just like our
Kaya
climate change
WTE.
action, this new system requires the participation of all sectors of society, up
Kaya
to
naman tayo sa
each
sectors.
individual citizen, for it to succeed. Only a whole of government and whole of society approach will enable us to do all of these. It is necessary to apply all the resources that are at hand if we are to progress as quickly as we need to. Collaboration is the key between and
Ano wala
among
siyang
government
sinasabi?
Collaboration.
and
Wala siyang
private
sinasabi.
government and the private
Ah.
sector, between industry and the
General
academic,
statement na lang.
between
Walang
government
sinasabi.
and international partners, and most importantly, collaboration between and among
Mas
our
maayos pa
populace.
yung pagkakadescribe niya sa
Kakailanganin
partners
natin
kaysa
ng
pag
tulong
Yeah.
sinabi ko sa yung
ng
government
buong
and society.
pamahalaan
Kasi
Right.
hindi mo na yung
at ng
nakaget
Right.
sila.
And so we
Pero
shall
pag
do
naman
the same for
foreign
the next 5
nationals,
years.
partners,
Not only to become more effective, but more to become truly transformative. This approach will be operationalized through the interagency cooperations as well as through coordinated efforts between and among the 3 branches of government
So,
and
sobrang
the
daming
independent
numbers
constitutional
kanina.
body.
Oo.
We have organized private sector
August
advisory
August
councils
na
Yeah,
national
yep,
local
yep.
mechanisms to establish the needed linkages. Once again, on this same principle, I urge the government to enact a new government procurement law and a new government auditing code.
Governance.
quality assurance.
Yeah.
Kasi ako
This
ba
to
yung
make
ISO?
government procurement and auditing more
Hindi ko alam
Hindi,
kung hindi
parang
man din
yung
siya
bureaucracy
sumama.
nung
We will give effect to
Sobrang
the
mahirap
the
kasi.
Constitution and the local government code as clarified by the Supreme Court very soon.
Madalas mo.
Almost all the required devolution transition plans of the LGUs are done. To fully prepare them for optimal devolution, the necessary technical and financial assistance is being extended to our local governments. In everything that we do, the enduring Filipino quality of bayanihan will still be our guide.
Daadyarin niya yung bayanihan concept.
5 taon mula nung matinding kaguluhan, babangon na ang Marawi City. Na nung
Rehab na.
nanunumbalik na ang sigla sa pamayanan, maraming proyekto ang
Wala siyang
nakumpleto
sinabi sa
at
client.
mga infrastruktura
Yeah.
na itatayo.
Zero.
Super short.
Lagay lang
Wala
yung
na tayo
statement
ng
na
proseso
food
ng
policy.
tulong.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then yung
Biktima
mention
ng
circular
Marawi.
economy. Pero there's nothing.
Wala.
Parang
Wala.
na-mention siya ng big words, like terms, but there's nothing.
Naway mamayani
Yung
ang
close to
pag-asa.
PDS, sinabi siya
Naway
mapupunta.
magpatuloy
Oo.
ang
Magpupunta tayo ng
pagkakaisa.
mga materials. And then,
Oo nga eh.
Hindi na-edit yung part na yun.
We are proud of the progress that the bar
Pinilit
has
ilagay.
taken. It will be self-governing.
Tapos zero numbers. Walang numbers.
No statistic.
It will be self-governing, it will be progressive, and it will be effective. But this was only made possible because of the cooperation of all key groups.
Given na malapit
We
na
talked to the local government, the royal families,
Yeah.
the MNOs,
And may
the
indication na
IMLS,
pupunta
the
siya.
MILS. We're all consulted and represented in this transition phase.
Ang
The
peacemaking.
international community
Oh, peacemaking ulit
supported
yan.
us in this
International
transition.
relations.
Former
PRO.
anniversaries are now partners in peace. Its functions have been defined, and its basic laws are now being written. Through the BARM, we have strengthened the nation's prospects for finally achieving sustainable progress anchored on a true and lasting peace in southern Philippines. We will continue to support the progress of the BARM, apace with our singular vision for all Filipinos.
Alam mo yung development sa BARM, medyo critical din kasi ang dami palang mga
Kailangan may ano tayo.
A
strategy.
strong and
kailangan.
stable rule of law will
ang
strengthen
daming
the foundation of our
energy sources.
transformation. Our
Gas,
police and armed
sobrang
forces
dami.
are being strengthened
So,
and modernized
and
to be
ano,
more
rare earth
effective in
minerals.
maintaining peace and order
Ang dami.
and in defending our sovereignty. We fully support the judiciary's
Yeah,
efforts to
explain.
improve the justice system and to protect constitutional rights. The campaign against illegal drugs continues, but it has taken on a new face.
New face. So parang, disregard na
It is now geared towards
Oo,
community-based
pero ganun.
rehabilitation, education, and reintegration to curb drug dependence amongst our affected
So wala nang
citizenry.
tokhang.
Last year, we
Education
launched
na
the
daw.
Buhay Ingatan,
Yeah.
Kayawan, or BIDA program.
Pero sabi nila,
Established an
hindi daw
additional
kumakain.
1
Di ba?
Balay Silangan Reformation.
Kasi may ICC investigation.
We will relentlessly continue our fight against drug syndicates, shutting down their illegal activities.
Pero bakit nila na i-bring up yun? Kasi kanina pa nag-uusap ng
We will shut down their activities.
Yeah, that's a good
Ah,
point. That's a
national
good point.
security kasi yung foundation na yun.
Pero that's a good
Mas
point.
after security.
Yeah, that health, which it should have been.
And the
Sana.
highly
Sa-
nefarious drug trade have been exposed. I will be accepting their resignations.
Sino daw yun? Daw may mga government officials na na-expose except na
As if naman nag-resign.
So bakit
Oo nga.
Madami
Oo nga.
ba?
Ang dami.
Kasi ang sila sa PNP,
We
di
will
ba?
install
Pero tokhang
individuals
hindi
who
naman
have
Oo.
binigyan sila ng chance to talk.
who will be effective and trustworthy in handling the task of eliminating this dreaded and corrosive social curse. We cannot tolerate corruption or incompetence in government.
Talaga?
Can't tolerate
Sketchy.
corruption
Almost half
and
a century,
incompetence.
some of our fellow Filipinos have taken to arms to make their views known and felt. We are now at the point in our history when their armed struggle has evolved. We have now progressed together towards peace and development. We have incorporated capacity building and social protection into our reintegration programs to guarantee full decommissioning of former combatants. Through community development and livelihood programs, the barangay development and enhanced comprehensive local integration programs have been effective in addressing the root cause of conflict in the countryside. To complete this reintegration process, I will issue a proclamation granting amnesty to rebel returnees, and I ask Congress to support me in this endeavor.
Peace. Peace. Peace.
Our journey to progress requires not only unity and social cohesion amongst our people.
Twice na yun.
It is also imperative that our
Nabilang ko rin.
nation is intact
Sabihan
and
mo na ako if you
viable,
want new
our
words.
sovereignty preserved. We will protect our sovereign rights and preserve our territorial integrity
National
in
security.
defense of a
Ang tagal na
rules-based
sa
international order.
Takot kasi siya mo magkaroon.
With our national interest paramount, we will always pursue constant dialogue and diplomatic approaches to the resolution of any issue that may arise.
Hindi ko na siya
So the initial results of our efforts inspire confidence. Let us continue to be relentless in our aspiration of peace and progress. This has not been the work of a single person, neither a single branch of government, nor even the whole government acting alone. This is the collective synergy achieved by all Filipinos working together. It
Thank
took
you.
a whole of nation
All of society approach.
from our pandemic start.
Tatlo na yan.
Unity was what made us
Ayun,
rise
ulit, oh.
once more. Nagsisimula pa lamang tayo. Ang
Tapos na siya?
pagbangon
One
ng
year
ating
na?
bayan
Nagsisimula pa lang?
ay magpapatuloy pa. Hinihiling ko ang inyong tiwala at
Patapos na siya sa
pag-iisa.
speech niya.
Sa ganitong paraan,
1 hour and
mapapantan
15
natin ang
minutes.
ating tanging hangarin, ang maginhawa, matatag at panatag na buhay para sa lahat
Ambition
ng
yun,
Pilipino.
Ambition 2040.
It's giving Cinderella the ball.
Makikipagtulungan
Pearls,
tayo
yeah.
ng mabuti sa Kongreso para sa mga mahahalagang batas na kinakailangan para sa ating tuloy-tuloy na pag-awang.
Tingnan natin.
And once again, I appeal to Congress for its support for the following priority legislations. The essential tax measures under our medium-term fiscal framework, such
Smash
as
tax
excise tax on single-use plastics,
Single-use
plastic.
services, rationalization of
Sketchy.
mining fiscal regime, motor vehicle users charge, road users tax, the military and uniform personnel pension, amendment of the Fisheries Code, amendment of the Anti-Agricultural Smuggling Act, amendment of the Cooperative Code, new government procurement law, new government auditing code, anti-financial account scamming, Tatak Pinoy law, the blue economy law, ease of paying taxes, LGU income classification, and the Philippine Immigration Act.
Wala
In the
siyang
past
sinabi
year,
sa land use app.
It has been
Kahapon,
a
last
source
time,
of
isa
great
yun sa mga
hope and
pinakauna.
optimism to me.
Oo, wala
I
siyang
now know
laws.
that there is an enormous pool of highly competent and dedicated workers serving in our government. It is up to us to provide good leadership and guidance. They love the Philippines and have responded to our call.
Philippines.
Not the...
Hindi niya binanggit yung research on this.
I have stated
Wala.
that my confidence in our future was grounded in our world-class quality workforce, be they the farmers in the field, corporate giants, government officials, school teachers, health workers, or employees. That confidence has been further buoyed by the demonstration of love for the Philippines.
Ayan na! For the Philippines.
Binati mo eh.
We have made to them to be part of our nation's future. Handa silang maghandog ng tulong dahil mahal nila ang kanilang kapwa Pilipino at mahal na mahal nila ang Pilipinas. And thus, with this in my heart, I know that the state of the nation is
Bigla ko
sound
naalala
and
yung
is
campaign
improving.
period. Sabi ng mga
Dumating
tao,
na
ang
po
hirap mahalin ng
ang bago.
Pilipinas. Tapos naging love
Maraming
Philippines.
salamat po sa inyo.
Oo nga, no?
Tapos na ako siya.
Tapos na siya.
About love ang dulo.
Siguro
Mahiya.
kung may mga nagdadala ng placards, clap. Kasi parang very sure.
Kasama sa rehearsal.
Sige, may rehearsal ako at this point.
Ayan na! My God! Tapos na.
Tapos na.
Man, that
Grabe
was
naman.
an hour
hour
and
and
18. Yeah. Wow.
Sa akin, improving.
Ano
Parang
daw?
wala siyang sinabing bago.
Wala.
Updates, pero diba sa
Hindi
medium
naman dapat
term
yung ginagawa niya.
Pero, natupad ang wish mo.
That's it.
SUP. Na-mention lang.
Mention lang.
Natupad yung wish na i-mention.
Na-mention. But,
Priority legislation.
Pero as we have seen
Pero
sa...
APR pa rin kasi yun eh.
Tsaka as we have seen sa previous SONA, kahit may priority legislation, doesn't
Hindi naman
in any way
nangyayari.
assure.
Yeah.
Yun yung mapapasok sa Congress.
Saan ba dun sa priority legislation na last year na lang na-create? Wala naman yata.
Yeah. Feeling ko pinush yun ni Loizaga eh.
Kaya parang minadali yung EO ng water resources. Kasi nga hindi na-create ng
Yung department.
Oo.
Kaya ano,
wala nang update dun eh.
yeah. Parang nung March ata, di ba, ginawa yun, tapos nawala siya.
May drought nga sa parang kulang ng water sa Mindanao. Tapos,
Mm-mm. Yun.
wow, I'm...
Parang na-underwhelm ako. Parang ay...
Number lang.
I was expecting something more. Siguro, baka nag-expect in the first place?
Oo.
Kasi yung promise niya magaganda eh.
Thank God for the popcorn. Thank God for the popcorn.
Naubos eh.
Naubos yung popcorn.
Okay na. Ano gagawin natin?
Wanna go see Oppenheimer?
Hindi Barbie, no? Oppenheimer. Ayan na, tapos na.
by 2025. before, if you remember, John, mataas yung inflation rate natin, particularly at the beginning of the year. So now
Tsaka economy talaga siya. Kahit even yung climate niya, feel niya na dapat dapat compatible yung market with our actions. Ganyan.
Yung carbon taxation.
Yeah, yes.
Kasi di ba yung paano niya is economist siya?
Oo.
Pa-PR niya.
Yun yung degree niya, di ba?
Oxford degree. Harvard ba yun? Oxford degree.
Yung the state of the nation is sound and improving. Yan din po sinabi niya last SONA 1. The nation is sound. Pero
So ngayon, improving.
yun yung binago niya. Improving na. And improving.
May ad na end. Improving.
Next time, the nation is sound, improving, and
What is the sound?
of silence.
Tsaka hindi siya nag-take ng hard stance against China, which was very strange for me.
Actually po, iniisip na may binanggit siya nung sa SONA 1 na parang everything in the national interest.
Yes, yeah.
Pero, kinabigan niya na a friend to all and an enemy to none.
Yeah.
So parang paano mo
Nagbalag
nakalaban mo
siya.
sila sa vested interests? Kanino ka?
Yeah, papalit.
Are you a friend or are you an enemy?